recording again because Lily is going to watch on, and so is Sophia later. All right, so you know what? We're going to not worry about the whiteboard and all because we've wasted time while Zoom was. So just erase that and let's move on, okay? Sorry. You already had it erased, Gabby? Okay, I'm sorry. And I was not even sure we were going to be able to get back on again. So I'm grateful that we are, but I want us to move on with the lesson. So everybody go ahead and erase what you have. And the next thing you're going to need is your word workbook, okay? So everybody grab your word workbook. And when you get it, open to page 65. All right, now on page 65, what we are doing is practicing our memory words, all right? So, let's see which dapper young man I'm going to call on to read those memory words for us while everybody else follows along. Okay, Dapper Brody, you go for it. Unmute yourself and read the words, and everybody else follow along with your eye and your ear as Brody reads them. Go ahead, Brody.
Coming, they, our, and put.
Excellent. All right. Now, your job is to read the sentence and find the memory word that Brody just read from the top that best fits in the sentence. So, Juliana, read the first sentence as you see it. Don't put a memory word in it yet. Just read it as you see it. Go ahead. Juliana, read the first one, please.
Are we in our reading book?
No, I asked you to get into your word workbook, my friend. Okay, Gabby, read the first one for us, please.
Hex McGraw and her helpers are.
Okay, his helpers are, all right?
His
So,
helpers are.
all right, so which one of those words best fits in the sentence? Which one of those memory words best fits in the sentence? Nico. Gabby, which one do you think best fits in the sentence?
Hex McGraw and his helpers are come. Tex McGraw and his helpers are coming. Tex McGraw and his helpers are they. Tex McGraw and his helpers are put. I think coming fits best.
I think coming fits best as well. So everyone is going to print the memory word coming on the handwriting lines at the end of the sentence. And then go back up in your word bank and put a little X in front of that word coming because we've used it. And when you have finished that, put your pencil down and look at Mrs. Moran, not your mom. Okay, now your job later on when we're finished with our lesson is going to be to do number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Everybody look at number 2, please. Mariella, I need for you to stop swinging in the seat, please. You're making me seasick. All right. That word is the missing word is the first word in the sentence. So when you go to write that missing word, what does it need to begin with? Because I've been seeing a lot of your work turned in. You're forgetting in a word book page like this, if it's the first word in the sentence, you have to make it begin with what, Aaron? A capital letter, that's right. So don't forget that. So draw a little circle around the 65 at the bottom to remind you that you have to come back and finish this page on your own. And then if you would turn to page 66, we'll go over the directions for what you're going to do there. Now, throughout the course of the year, we've been talking about antonyms. The word antonym is a fancy schmancy word for opposite, okay? So the antonym for young is old. The antonym for high is low. Antonyms are words that have opposite or different meanings, all right? Now, let's see. Alessandro, will you read? You know what? Let's start with the words at the bottom of the page. Alessandro, do you see the words at the bottom of the page that are in those little boxes? Would you?
Yes.
Okay, would you read those for us while excuse me 1 minute. Mariella, please mute yourself. The only person that should be unmuted right now is me and Alessandro. All right, Alessandro, you're reading them. Everybody else was reading with your eye and listening with your ear as Alessandro reads them. Go ahead, Alessandro.
Under. Put up. Tidy up. Grand. Coming.
Very good. Now mute yourself, please. All right. Now, Jameson, would you read sentence number 1 for us? Got to unmute. There you go.
Tex McGraw is leaving.
All right. Now, Jameson, which one of those words from the bottom that Alessandro read has the opposite meaning of leaving?
Coming.
Coming. So I would cut out the word coming, put glue stick on the word leaving, and then put that word coming on top. So you're going to read the sentence, then you're going to find the word that has the opposite meaning of that word, cut it out, and put it in the box. If you understand that, put your thumbs up. If you're not sure, thumbs to the side. If you're really totally confused, thumbs down. Okay, so I have everybody up. Good job. All right, guess what? You put a little circle at the bottom of that page so you remember that you're going to come back to that. Okay. All right. And now, hopefully, we're going to be able to move on to, I'm not going to do it that way. Hold on just a minute, because I had all of this opened before. I'm just going to open it this way. We're going to open that down there, and we're going to do that the same way and open it down there. All right, because I think it'll work better for sharing that way. So the first thing we're going to do is what I wanted is not there. Oh my goodness, this day is not working the way it's supposed to work. All right. Can you all see those? If you can see those words, thumbs up. Nope, thumbs down. Holy moly, what is happening today? This Zoom does not like us today. Honest to Pete, it does not. So here's what I'm going to do. The one way that we can take care of this, at least this part of it, is I can go up here and maybe I can get the whiteboard. I found them. I think I found them. There they are. Just like magic. Now can you see them? Okay. All right. And now I need to see all of you. I can only see a couple. All right, so over here, we're going to read our Super Duper magazine today. And over here, we have our sound out words. And so the first word is cliffs. And the word under it is steep, all right? Now, cliffs are walls of rocks, okay? And you'll remember that we heard the word steep, okay, in one of the rides that the kids went on, all right? So it's kind of high like a mountain with sloping sides when something is steep. And a canyon, okay, is a deep valley with steep sides. And then the next word is wetlands. And wetlands are low, moist areas of land, like swamps, okay? And then mammoth means huge. So again, cliffs are walls of rock. A canyon is a deep valley with steep sides, okay? Wetlands are those low, moist areas of land, and mammoth means huge. And then we have story words over here. And those are parks and wild and national. National means having to do with an entire country, such as the United States. So when we talk about the national anthem, we're talking about the anthem or the song that belongs to the entire country of the United States, all right? America, underground, and crocodiles, all right? Yeah, crocodiles. So when you come to these words, just try your best to sound them out. Some of them will be easier than others, okay? Now, let's see if, okay. There's, nope, you don't need that anymore. We need to find the, and I'm not sure it's gonna work this way, but we'll try. Let's try it again and see if it works. All right, it may or it may not. If, there it is. All right, and I'm gonna ask you to hold on 1 minute because there's somebody at the door that I have to go greet. So I will be right back. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, guys, sorry about that, but when duty calls, you got to go. All right, Gabby wants to come in. All right, so here we are. This is what we are going to be reading, the Super Duper magazine, okay? Now, you'll remember that in Tex McGraw's visit, the Super Kids cleaned up their land so that they could win because they understood it's really, really important to take care of their land. Okay, now Americans have an area of, they have lots of areas of land that are called national parks, and they belong to all of us. Okay, so it says Super Duper America's Parks. All right, America is short for the United States of America, and this book is about national parks that belong to everyone in America. What do you see in this picture? What are some of the things you see in this picture? Oh, no, that's not what I want. On the cover of the book, what are some of the things you see? Aaron, what's something you see? You got to unmute yourself.
Mountains.
Mountains, okay. Jameson, what do you see?
A river.
A river, okay. So we see a river. We see reddish cliffs here, okay, or walls of rock. And there's these rivers or these water that is flowing through it. Anybody know what this might be a picture of? It's a national park. Anybody have, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to move you guys, not the picture. Okay, anybody have any idea? Well, guess what? This is the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Okay, so let's go ahead and see.
America's Parks.
That's the title. Hold on a minute. Let's go back.
The parks you go to may have slides and swings, but there are other parks you
Mariella,
can visit that have
mute
cliffs
yourself,
and
please.
caves and wild animals. These parks are national parks that belong to every person in America.
Okay, how can you tell this park, Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado, is in the wild? What lets you know that it's in the wild? What do you see there? Jameson.
A moose.
Okay, so you see a wild animal. Anything else that lets you know that we're in the wild? Todd, do you see something in there that lets you know that we're in the wild?
Some mountains and animals.
Okay, so we already heard that there's a wild animal and there's mountains. Do you see any people? Nico, do you see any people?
No.
No. So that helps us also know that we're in the wild, okay? And this animal is called an elk, all right? And he's a type of large animal, a deer actually, that lives in the wild. All right, let's see where we go to next.
This park has lots of big animals and hot springs. It has spots where hot water sprays up from deep underground. Fantastic!
All right, now, the narrator doesn't tell us which park we're at now, but there's something on the page that lets you know which national park that we're visiting now. Which national park are we visiting now, Juliana? Alessandro, which national park are we visiting? Yellowstone National Park. And if you look right down here at the bottom of the page, it tells you which park that we're visiting, okay? Now, look at this cloud or this stream of water, okay? Yellowstone National Park is known for its hot springs, okay? Where that water just comes up and sprays from deep underground. What do these little pictures show? What do the little pictures on the side show, Nico? What do they show? The little pictures on the side, what do they show?
They show different animals.
That's right, they show different animals that live in Yellowstone National Park, such as bears and buffalo and a wolf. All right. Now, how are these two parks that we've looked at, the Rocky Mountain National Park and Yellowstone National Park, how are they different from the neighborhood parks that you guys go to? How are they different, like say from Park on Park? How are those two parks different than like when you go to Park on Park or a park near your neighborhood? Jameson?
One has a geyser.
You mean Park on Park doesn't have a geyser?
No.
No, it doesn't. So how else are these two parks different from like Park on Park or the parks in your neighborhood? Somebody else, Jameson gave a good answer. Park on Park doesn't have a geyser. How else are these two parks different from the parks you guys go to? Brianna?
It doesn't have no
It doesn't have Doesn't have any.
Playground.
Say it again. Doesn't have.
Talk louder.
It doesn't have a playground.
It doesn't have any swings. What else doesn't it have, Gabby? Besides no swings, what else doesn't it have?
It doesn't have big animals.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see. We've traveled to the Rocky Mountain National Park and we've traveled to Yellowstone National Park. Let's see which national park we're going to go to next. Ooh, let's listen. First of all, can you find on the page what park we're at now? What park are we visiting now, Jameson?
Mammoth Cave.
Okay, we're visiting Mammoth Cave and it's right down here. Let's find out what we can learn about Mammoth Cave National Park.
A park can be underground. This park is a cave where tunnels stretch on for miles and miles. In some spots, the cave is so little you can't stand up. In other spots, the cave is so big you can't see to the other side. The park is named Mammoth Cave. Its name fits perfectly.
So how is this park different than the other two parks that we read about? How is this park different from the other two parks? Jay?
It's a cave underground.
Yes, this park is a cave and it's underground. Jameson, why is this cave called Mammoth Cave? Why do you suppose it's called Mammoth Cave?
Because it's really big.
Because it's very big and it has lots and lots of tunnels. Okay, so we visited Rocky Mountain National Park. We have visited Yellowstone National Park and we have visited Mammoth Cave. I wonder what national park we are going to visit next. Oh, this one looks familiar. Where have we seen this park before, Gabby? Where have we seen this park before?
Mountain.
But where have we seen this park before? It looks very familiar. Aaron,
Grand Canyon.
yes, it's the one that was on the cover of our super magazine. And again, Gabby looked down here at the bottom to find out the name of the national park that we are visiting now. So pay close attention because many of us will never get to visit these parks in our lifetime. So we're learning some really cool information about them without even getting to be there in person. So listen up to what we want to learn about the Grand Canyon.
This park has lots of steep, rocky cliffs. Way down at the bottom of the cliffs is a river. You can ride a mule from the top of the cliffs down to the bottom. Hang on.
All right, so if I move you guys over here, over the words, okay? Now, where is the Grand Canyon located? In what state in the United States? I told you at the very beginning of the lesson. It's located in where, Gabby?
Georgia.
No, it's located in Arizona, okay? Now, unlike Mammoth Cave, where everything was underground and there were big tunnels, okay? Here we have big cliffs, okay? And having been to Arizona to visit, not the Grand Canyon, but in Yuma, where my son and his family lives, pretty much all of the mountains and the cliffs that you see are this reddish brown color. How did the people get to the bottom of the cliffs where the water is? How did you hear they traveled from the top of the cliffs to the bottom where the water is? Juliana, how did they do that? Juliana, you're not with us too much this morning. How did they get there, Jameson?
Wait, what was the question?
The question is, how can you get from the top of those cliffs down to the bottom where the water is? Mia, how can you do that?
By riding a mule.
Yeah, and you know how long that takes? Look at the cliffs and how high they are up here at the top. And you're going to go all the way down those steep cliffs to the water. Anybody have any idea how long that might take? Mia, how long do you think it might take?
A really long time.
Guess what? It takes 5 hours. And sometimes it can be really, really hot to do that. Okay. And sometimes people who take that journey might stay in a cabin, okay, overnight before they go back up, because once you go down, you got to get back up again. So down there might be some cabins where people spend the night before they make the long 5-hour journey back up the cliffs. Pretty cool. All right, so this is now, we are at the Cape Cod National Seashore. Okay, now the Grand Canyon is out on the west coast. Here, the Cape Cod National Seashore is on the east coast. So let's see what's so fancy schmancy that we should know about this national.
Cape Cod has lots of beaches. You can swim and play in the sand. If you look across the water, you could get lucky and spot a whale jumping out in the sea.
Wow. Okay. So, what did you hear the author say that Cape Cod has lots of? What does it have lots of, Mariella? What did you hear the author say that Cape Cod has lots of? Mia, what does Cape Cod have lots of?
Beaches.
Beaches. And what can kids your age do at those beaches? Gabby?
Build sandcastles and
Yes. And what
swim.
else? And swim. And if you're really lucky, standing on the shore, Nico, what might you see out in the water?
A whale.
Doing what?
Jumping.
Jumping. You would be really lucky if you got to see that, wouldn't you? Would that make you excited if you saw that? It would make me excited if I saw that. Wow. And I love the beach anyway, so I'm all for it. However, the water there tends to be a little bit cooler than what we are used to here in Florida. We're kind of spoiled by the warmer ocean water. All right, let's see where we're off to next. I'll have to move you guys so that I can turn the page. Okay, Aaron, can you find on the page where we are now? We're not at Cape Cod anymore. Where are we now?
In the swamp.
In the swamp. Something a little bit more specific. Jameson, where are we now? It says it right on the page.
The Everglades.
Hey, we're in our neck of the woods. Aren't the Everglades in Florida? Yeah, so we are in our neck of the woods now. So the information we're going to read about now is right near us. So let's read what it says about the Everglades. Mia is all excited to hear about the Everglades.
The Everglades has miles and miles of wetlands. Many different animals make their home here, from tiny frogs to big crocodiles.
And so wetlands was one of those words that we talked about, one of those story words that we talked about at the beginning of the lesson. And so wetlands, you'll remember, are very moist, swampy land, okay? And this area has things like not just swamps and marshes and rivers, but there's alligators and there's crocodiles and there's this pretty little bird that's pink. Anybody know what that bird is called? Alessandro?
A flamingo.
A flamingo. That is absolutely right. Okay. And so we go from having this huge crocodile to a medium-sized animal that live in the wetlands, that flamingo, and then this tiny little creature that the little boy is holding onto there. What's that tiny little creature that also lives in the wetlands? Brianna?
A frog.
A frog. So anything from as tiny as a frog, okay, and they don't harm you, to that big old crocodile or that alligator can live in that swampy, moist place called the Everglades. All right, let's see where we're off to next. I think I'd rather be in Cape Cod than the Everglades. All right, so let's wrap it up.
America's national parks protect land and animals. Every park is a bit different, but a kid can have a terrific time in each and every one.
Right, and our country, as it says, as the narrator read, protects these parks and these lands and the animals that live on it because they want to make sure that everyone, you and I, are able to enjoy and see all of the interesting things, whether it's the beaches where we get to play in the sand and enjoy the water, or whether it's to go and see the geysers shooting up, or all that's underneath in those mammoth tunnels. Those areas are all protected so that you and I are able to go and see all of the cool stuff that are in those parks. If we don't take care of it, then it's not there for us to see and to enjoy. Okay. Now, did the author write this book to tell a story or to give information, Juliana? Did the author write this book to tell a story or to share information? Juliana?
To share information.
And how do we know that? How do we know that Juliana is correct, that the author wrote this to share information? She's right, but how do we know that that's why the author did this, to share information? Nico, what do you think? What does the book give us? Nobody wants to. Juliana, what do you think the book gives us?
Information.
Not just information and facts, but information and facts about real live things, okay? They weren't pretend, they weren't make-believe, it wasn't Happy Land, okay? It wasn't some of the other places that the super kids have visited. This was information and facts about real things, okay? Any one of you, if your parents will take you, can go see the Grand Canyon, okay? Or Cape Cod, or the Everglades, because those are real places, okay? And you learned real facts and real information, which might make you say to your mom and dad, hey, I learned about the Grand Canyon. Do you think someday we could go and take that 5-hour journey down from the top of the cliff to the bottom? Could we stay overnight in a cabin? Now you know some interesting places that you might like to visit, whether you're a kid or a teenager or a grown-up. Okay, now, my friends, you have those couple of word workbook pages that you're going to work on, as well as going back, and this is difficult, okay? This is difficult reading, so I'm okay with you going back onto Super Kids Online Fun and finding the Super Magazine on Super Kids Online Fun and reading along. That means you're reading at the same time as the narrator. You're not just listening, you're practicing your reading and your fluency along with the narrator. Everybody understand that? If you understand that, thumbs up. Hold on, let me get rid of stop share so I can see if everybody understands that. Okay?
Yes.
Sometimes the informational text is written a little bit above where our reading level is, and that's cool because it's still important for us to learn this information and these cool facts. And so sometimes that means when we go back to read it, we go to Super Kids Online Fun and we read along with the narrator. If you know that you can read this on your own without the narrator, that's fine. You may do so, okay? But if you know that you're going to need a little bit of help from the narrator, that's okay to do that as well. Everybody okay with that? All right, now.
Listen to what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. It don't sound like it.
Okay. Yes.
Jameson, do you understand what you're supposed to do? Okay. Brody, you do. Thank you. All right. I think I said we could sing happy birthday to Mariella when we ended. So everybody's going to unmute yourself. Are we ready? Okay. Happy birthday.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mariella. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday. All right. See you all. All right. I will see you all this afternoon. I'm going to do a little review for our science tomorrow. Okay? All right. See you in a little
Bye,
bit.
Mrs. Moran. Bye, Mrs. Moran. Bye.
Bye. Jameson, can you stay? Bye, everybody else. Bye, Gabby. Go ahead and close off. Jameson, I need to talk to your mom.
Goodbye.
Go ahead, Aaron. You can close off. Are you stopping by for his Mother's Day thing?
Yes, Tommy was supposed to stop by yesterday, but forgot. So what time is best today?
I'm probably, well, not like the one mother who came during my Zoom meeting. Eileen, you need to go. But anytime that Zoom meeting will probably go till 2, anytime after that. I do
Okay.
have a meeting with the parish, but that's not gonna matter if I walk outside for that one, okay?
Okay.
And
I mean, I can be there at like 2:05 if that
that's
works.
fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right,
Okay,
then I'll be there at 2:05.
okay,
That'll work.
that'll work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
When we go there.